The art contest. A drawing tells a true feeling. It was a bright morning in a small town. The school was full of noise because something special was going to happen. The teacher, Miss Laura, told the class, "Today we will have an art contest. You can draw anything you want. You can use pencils, colors, or paint. At the end, we will put all the pictures on the wall, and everyone can see them." The children were very excited. They whispered to each other, and some even started to plan what they would draw. In the class, there was a boy named Daniel. Daniel was a quiet boy. He did not speak very much, but he always listened carefully. He liked to sit near the window and watch the sky. Sometimes he drew small pictures on his notebook, but he never showed them to anyone. When he heard about the contest, his heart started to beat fast. He wanted to join, but he was afraid. He thought, what if my drawing is not good? What if people laugh at me? The contest began. All the children took their papers and pencils. Some started to draw big houses, some drew cars, and some drew animals. There was a girl named Maria who loved art. She was very good at drawing flowers and birds. She worked quickly and with a smile. Many students believed Maria would win. Daniel sat quietly for a long time. He looked at his blank paper. His hand was shaking a little. He closed his eyes and tried to think. Then he remembered something. He remembered his mother. His mother always worked hard. She was kind and gentle. She often came home tired, but she always smiled at him. She told him stories before bed and hugged him when he was sad. Suddenly, Daniel felt warm inside. He worked with love, and he forgot about his fear. When the time was finished, Miss Laura said, "Please put your drawings on the wall." One by one, the children stood up and placed their pictures. The wall became full of colors: blue skies, green trees, red cars, bright flowers, funny animals. The children clapped and laughed. Then it was Daniel's turn. He walked slowly to the wall and put his picture at the end of the row. He stepped back, shy and nervous. The teacher walked along the wall and looked at each picture. She smiled at the colorful houses and the beautiful flowers. But when she came to Daniel's picture, she stopped. She looked at it for a long time. The room became quiet. The other children also looked. They saw the picture of Daniel's mother. It was not just a drawing. It had feeling. The smile of the woman was soft, the light from the window looked warm, and the whole picture seemed alive. Maria whispered, "This picture feels real." Another student said, "It looks like love." The teacher turned to Daniel and asked, "Who is this?" Daniel looked down and said softly, "It's my mother." His voice was quiet but clear. Miss Laura's eyes became warm, and she said, "This is beautiful. You did not only draw a face, Daniel. You drew a feeling. You drew love." The class clapped, and Daniel's cheeks turned red. He felt shy, but inside, he was happy. For the first time, he showed his heart with art. At the end of the day, Miss Laura announced the result. "All the drawings are wonderful," she said. "But today, the winner is Daniel." The children clapped again. Maria smiled at him and said, "Your drawing is special. It tells a story." Daniel smiled back. He felt proud, but more than proud, he felt understood. When he went home, he showed the picture to his mother. She looked at it and put her hand on his cheek. "You have a gift, Daniel," she said softly. Her eyes were full of tears, but they were happy tears. Daniel hugged her and whispered, "I wanted to show you how much I love you." That night, Daniel sat by the window again. He looked at the sky, but this time he was not quiet inside. His heart was full. He understood that art was not just about colors or shapes. Art was about feelings, and sometimes a drawing could say more than words. From that day on, Daniel never felt afraid to draw again. He knew that when he drew with his heart, people would see the truth inside him. And so, the art contest ended, but the memory stayed. A small drawing told a true feeling, and it made everyone see the power of love. The art contest, a drawing tells a true feeling. After the contest, the town still talked about the pictures on the school wall. People said how a small drawing can carry a big feeling. Daniel went to school the next day and he felt a little different. He still spoke softly, but he smiled more. Some students asked him about his picture. He answered with small words and slow sentences. He felt warm when people looked kind to him. Miss Laura came to him at the desk and said, "Daniel, would you like to join the after-school art club?" He looked at her. He felt surprised and happy. He wanted to say yes, but he was a little shy. Then he nodded and she smiled. The art club was in the small room behind the library. The room had old tables, big brushes, and many boxes of color. The light came through a tall window and the air smelled of paper and paint. On the first day, Daniel met other children who liked to draw. Maria was there. She waved and sat next to him. There was also a boy named Sam who liked to draw machines, and a girl named Aisha who liked to make bright paintings. The art teacher, Mr. Omar, was calm and gentle. He had small glasses and a quiet voice. He showed them simple tools and told them little tips. He said, "Look at light. Look at small things. Draw what you feel." Daniel listened and his hands began to move. Mr. Omar gave Daniel a new sketchbook. The paper felt soft under his pencil. He opened it and saw the blank white pages. He thought about his mother and the day of the contest. He remembered the warm light from the window in his drawing. He felt courage. He drew the corner of the kitchen first. Then he drew his mother's hands. He drew the little cup of tea and the small table. His lines were slow and careful. The more he drew, the more he saw things in a new way. Days passed and Daniel came to the club every afternoon. He learned how to mix colors and how to make a shadow under a cup. He learned how to use a thin brush for small lines and a big brush for white paint. He smelled paint, heard the soft sound of brushes, and felt his pencil move. He painted the garden behind his house. He painted the street where the old man sold bread. He painted the small cat that slept on the wall. Each picture had a simple truth. Each picture had a feeling. Maria helped him a lot. She showed him how to make the leaves look alive. She said, "Use a light hand. Try many times." Daniel tried many times. He drew the same window again and again until the light looked like real morning light. When he felt tired, Maria would tell a small joke and they would both laugh. Daniel liked to laugh. He liked to share a small smile while they worked. One morning, the town library put up a poster. The poster said there would be a city art festival in 1 month. People from different schools would come. There would be paintings, drawings, and small sculptures too. Miss Laura read the poster to the class and she said, "This is a good chance for you. You can show your heart to more people." Daniel heard this and his stomach made a small sound. He felt a mix of fear and hope. He wanted to go, but he also felt small in front of a big city contest. Mr. Omar gently touched his shoulder. "If you want to try," he said, "I will help you." Maria said the same. She said, "We can paint together after school." Daniel looked at his sketchbook. He felt that his picture could travel outside the school wall. He thought of his mother sitting on the chair and smiling. He thought of her tired hands and of the warm tea. He decided to try. For the next weeks, Daniel worked every day. He woke a little earlier and he drew for a short time before school. At night, he sat with his mother and told her small things about the art club. She always listened. She said, "I am proud of you," in a soft voice. Sometimes she fell asleep and Daniel covered her with a light blanket. He felt love and worrying at the same time. He wanted to make something that showed both love and the hard work in their life. One rainy afternoon, the art club went to the town museum. The museum had old paintings with big frames. It smelled like dust and polish. The kids walked slowly and looked at the paintings. There were pictures of seas, of bright markets, and of people with soft faces. Daniel stood in front of a painting with a small light. He looked at the colors. He saw how the artist used dark and light to make the face look real. He felt quiet inside. Mr. Omar said, "See how the light tells a story." Daniel touched the air with his finger, but he did not touch the painting. He felt a lesson in his heart. Back at home, Daniel painted a large picture for the city festival. He used a big sheet of paper and he mixed water and color. He painted his mother sitting by the window. He painted the small cup, the warm light, the tired hands, and the gentle smile. He added small things that mattered: a torn book, a pair of old shoes, a small plant on the windowsill. He painted slowly and he listened to the rain outside. When he was tired, he closed his eyes and remembered the day of the school contest. He felt the same warm feeling. He painted with care. The day of the city festival came. The hall was big and bright. Many people walked slowly and spoke in low voices. There were long tables with name cards and many frames on the walls. Daniel felt small at the door. He held his picture with both hands. His hands were not shaking now. His mother walked with him. She looked proud and happy. She held a small bag and she smiled with gentle eyes. Maria and Mr. Omar walked beside them. They all felt quiet and excited. At the festival, the children's art hung on a long wall. There were many styles. Some pictures were loud and full of bright color. Some were quiet and soft. Daniel stood by his painting and watched people look. A woman with glasses stopped and looked at the light in his work. A man with a hat read the small note that Daniel had written next to the painting. "My mother is my heart." People read the words and they looked at the painting again. The judges walked by. They looked at many pictures and they made small notes. Daniel felt his heart beat fast. He thought about not winning, and he thought about how he already had done his best. He looked at his mother and she squeezed his hand. He felt calm and he smiled. The room filled with music and small conversations. When the judges announced the winners, Daniel did not hear his name at first. He felt a small cold wind of sadness. Then the head judge said, "We will give a special prize for the painting that shows the most feeling." The hall became quiet. The judge walked to the children's work and pointed to Daniel's painting. "The special prize goes to Daniel," she said. The hall clapped and some people stood. Daniel's cheeks turned red and his hands held the certificate. He felt shy and proud at the same time. Maria jumped and hugged him. His mother's eyes filled with tears and she spoke aloud, my son, my son." Her voice was soft and full of joy. After the festival, a small newspaper wrote a short piece about Daniel and the special prize. The librarian hung his picture in the window of the library for a week. People who walked past stopped and looked. Some left small notes with kind words on the library table. A busy baker brought a small cake to the school and he said, "For the young artist." Daniel ate a small piece and he smiled. He felt that his drawing had become a small bridge. It brought people together and it made his life a little brighter. Life did not change in a big way. The mother still worked hard. The house was still small and the cup of tea was still simple. But something inside Daniel grew. He found a voice that he did not use with many words. He learned to say true things with lines and color. He kept drawing in the evenings. He taught the little neighbor children how to hold a pencil. He smiled when they made strange little pictures and he clapped for them when they finished. One winter day, a new family came to the street. They had a small girl who could not speak much. She stood by the window and she looked at Daniel's books. Daniel went outside and showed her his drawing of a cat. He put the small drawing in her hand. The girl looked and her eyes moved slowly. She pointed to the cat and then she touched his hand. Daniel felt happy and he felt a deep peace. He remembered how he once was quiet and afraid. He understood now that a small act can open a door. Years went by and Daniel kept drawing. He did not want fame or many prizes. He wanted to tell true things. He painted people he liked and places he knew. He painted small moments where love lived, a father fixing a shoe, a child sharing bread, an old woman knitting by the window. His painting stayed honest and calm. People came to the library to look at new pictures and they talked about small things. They remembered their own mothers, fathers, and quiet mornings. One summer evening, Daniel sat by the window again. He was older now and his lines were steady. The sky was pink and the town was quiet. He took a new sheet of paper and he started to draw his mother once more. She sat in the same chair, but now her hair had a little silver. Her hands had new lines. She smiled and she looked at him with soft eyes. Daniel drew slowly and he felt deep love. He put the painting on the table and he looked at it for a long time. Then he walked to his mother and he gave her the picture. She touched it and her hand was warm. She said, "This is our life." Daniel nodded. He said, "Yes, this is our life." It is simple and it is true. They both looked out the window and watched the light. They listened to the small sounds of the street and they felt the calm, slow time that comes after a long day. The art contest had started a quiet change in the town. It taught the children to look and to feel. It taught them that a drawing can tell a true feeling. Daniel learned that art is a voice for the quiet heart. He learned that simple things matter. He learned to give his gift to other people. And most of all, he learned that when someone sees your true feeling, it can change a life gently, like a small light in the dark. Years later, when Daniel walked past the school, he saw a new child by the window. The child was quiet and he held his pencil close. Daniel smiled and he sat next to him. He did not say many words. He only took a clean paper and he put it between them. He opened his hand and showed the child how to make a small line that could grow into a warm story. The child looked up with big eyes and he began to draw, and so the line went on. Small pictures told true feelings, one after another. The town kept its soft light, and the people kept their small, honest stories. Daniel knew that art was not only for the prize. It was for the heart that needed a voice. He knew that one simple drawing could hold a whole life. He smiled and he drew another small line because a new story always waits to be told.